All right, now that we have our image selected, we're going to start to trace the major shapes that are going to create our illustration. And remember, we're not just tracing the outline of our head or the outline of the overall hair. We're also looking for any major change of color. That's going to really make it more interesting to look at. I'm going to be using two things up here mostly, the zoom and the curve line. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to zoom in a little bit. So I'm just going to click onto this so that it's blue. And then I'm going to click and drag. And that's going to move it in closer for me. So it's just going to highlight the part that I clicked and dragged. Now I'm going to come over here and I'm going to click on the curve. And you'll see this little crosshairs plus looking thing. That is going to be how I trace my shape. And I'm clicking, and notice the line curve as I click. It's following me with my clicking part. So I have to click whenever there's a major turn, basically. And it will wrap around. I'm not worrying if it's perfect. There are adjustments I can make later. And this part of is still my head, so I'm just going to go right through that curl there. Notice how this curls together, the blue line touches together. That's how I'm going to connect it, and it's going to make a shape. Everything must be a shape. Now that I have my shape, I'm going to set it to transparent so that we can see the outline, and I'm going to move into something else. So remember, we're looking for not just the outline, but any kind of change in color. So I've got kind of like a shadow here. I'm going to make a shape there. Got kind of like my red cheek part here. I'm going to highlight that. So I'm breaking it down into many different varieties. This is also a little darker, so I'm going to get one over here. So I'm making my face into kind of a little patchwork of shapes. Now for something more obvious, let's zoom in a little more. Let's look at the nose. Because everyone's going to be freaking out over the nose. Please don't freak out over drawing a nose. It's going to be fine. You're going to, again, look for those shape color changes. A great way to do that is to focus on something most obvious, like the little nostril areas. And this is going to take a while. So I'm going to, now that I've shown you how the basic part works, and again, remember, I'm looking for changes in value, changes in color. It's okay if things kind of overlap a little. The more you click, the more detailed your shape gets. If you do not want to wait till the very end to make some fine adjustments, do not panic. Go to your little select, the little arrow, double click it. If I want to make this a little more pointy here, I can pick up any of these little purple dots. The line will become purple, and I can make some adjustments. So if you really want to fix your adjustments before you go too far, while you're thinking about one area, you are more than welcome to do that. Double click, click twice quickly, and you can drag your little points around to make a more appealing drawing to you. All right, so this is the step that's next. You are going to keep doing this until you get enough detail that you feel like you have, whoops, that's really little. Until you have all the shapes, both inside and outside, done. We'll take a look at what that looks like in just a second. And then here is what it looks like after you have all of the shapes. So I've gotten on this version of myself as many shapes as I want. So I've got things around my nose, around my eyes, those highlights and shadows in my hair. So this will take you a little bit of time. Work on that part, and then we will move on to what's next afterwards. So remember, key points, all the shapes that you want. More details is more awesome. More clicking points makes a more accurate shape. Do your best, and we'll check in after you have your outline.